good, everyone? I'm Jada May, and you're listening to Jada May Today. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Coronavirus, quarantine, college students. I'm a college student myself. I am a senior graduating in the spring, so I am very heartbroken that I'm spending the last semester in my house, in my room, not having any type of contact with anyone. I mean, there is like FaceTime and messaging and all that, but it's not the same when you can't interact with all your friends and family in person. And it has been a little struggle adjusting to it all, especially having classes online, which I didn't pay for that, but we can't control what's happening right now in the world. I just remember everyone at the beginning of the year, after New Year's, like, oh yeah, 2020 is going to be the best year, man. And like, I can't wait to do this and that, go out with my friends, go to the club. I'm going to apply to this job. I'm going to start up this new club. Like, just everyone had their vision of what their 2020 was going to look like. And I know it was definitely not this. And for me, it definitely was not this. Like, I had so many plans that I wanted to do, plans that I wish I haven't pushed off so long because now I can't do them at the moment. But we live and we learn. And I feel like quarantine or this coronavirus situation has taught many people to not keep pushing off things that they should have done already. With that being said, I just want to shout out all the seniors, including high school and college, because I know how tough it is right now, especially if you're a graduating senior in college. I'm graduating in spring. Unfortunately, they said they're not going to do the commencement ceremony, or they're going to postpone it, hopefully to August. Like, I am praying. I'm like, please. A lot of seniors been dreaming about this day for so long, and it's so heartbreaking to not be able to walk across the stage in May like we planned. When I was on Facebook a couple times with my university's group chat for the seniors, some seniors were like, "Oh, it doesn't matter, guys. Like, you're still gonna get your diplomas. Like, why are you being so sad about it? Like, at least you're graduating." And my response was, just because you're not excited about walking across the stage, don't bum everybody else out about what you're feeling. Like, a lot of other people want to walk across the stage because they earned it. They worked 4 hard years or even more than that to be able to walk across the stage. And they wanted their family and their friends to see them. It's like a big moment in your life, especially if you've been dreaming about it forever. I know for a fact that I remember writing down in my notebook, I believe I was in like middle school. I'm like, I'm gonna graduate in 2020. Like, this is gonna be the year. And I stuck with that, and now I'm here, and I'm still proud of myself for going through this. But it is really tough to know that I won't be able to go across the stage with my other classmates in May. And also, shout out to first generation students who are also graduating. Like, I know that's really tough on their families and themselves. Like, this is like, it was just the moment. I don't know how else to say it. It was just like, this is the time, man. Like, everybody was so hyped, like, just to end the semester off on a good note. A lot of people were in their organizations, in their clubs and groups at the university. They were in positions that would look good on their resumes. And don't forget internships too. If you had an internship, most of the internships probably cut it off for now. So you did get some experience, but not to the full extent. So it is tough to have all these plans and then something just be like, oh no, you can't do that no more. This whole coronavirus situation makes it feel like, for example, if you're getting ready and you're a girl, you got your heels on, your dress, you got your makeup, nails done, hair done, everything done, and you step outside, you start walking to the car or wherever you're going, and your heel breaks. Like you're almost there to the finish line, about to go party or go out with your friends, and now you have this whole dilemma that makes you not be able to do what you wanted to do in the first place. This is like a kid when they get their ice cream cone and they walk outside the ice cream parlor and then the ice cream drops to the ground. That's how this coronavirus feels when it comes to graduation. It's like you're just almost there and like, damn, like this is really how it's gonna be now. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way I'm feeling right now. You're just almost there. Like it's so unbelievable like how all of this is happening. Like I feel like I'm living in a movie or something. And I know Netflix had those shows called Pandemic and all these other Asian movies that were talking about coronavirus and like, oh, it's a disease that there's no cure for it, and it's crazy out here. And like I said, for college students, it's like taking a piece away from you from like you're still, now I wouldn't say you're a baby still, but you're still in that like learning phase of life, and this was like the last time where you can still be kind of coddled, I would say, until you get into the real world, because now we're just like, it feels like we're just gonna jump straight up into the job world. Like I am not ready for this right now. I have been looking at like jobs and stuff like on Indeed and Glassdoor, and I know it's going to be really competitive. So I know a lot of seniors are feeling the same way. Like we're just going to have to jump straight into our careers. Like no breaks, no whatsoever, unless you're going back. I guess some people might be going back for their masters, but for those of you who are not, like we're going to have to buckle down and get our resumes right, get our cover letters correct, maybe this is not as bad. At least we have time to do those things, because when we have school and class and homework and other extracurriculars, it's hard sometimes to balance that and then also try to fix your resume up. I know that it gets tedious after a while. You have to change your resume for every job. If it's a different one, you have to correlate your cover letter to fit this job description. So during this time, I would suggest a lot of people like find a hobby they can do indoors. Maybe I know some of my friends like to color or do puzzles, do music, listen to music, write poetry. And come to thinking about it, I just noticed that a lot of people would say like, oh, the arts are no good. Not a lot. Yeah, a lot of people would say the arts are no good. What's the use for it? You're not going to get a job in that, and etc. But the arts are more than for just to make money. It is something to express yourself. And a lot of people have turned to the arts now because of this quarantine situation. Like, if there weren't for the arts, we will go crazy in our houses. There would be nothing to do but to watch. Well, even movies. Movie is an art. So if we didn't have movies, if we didn't have TV shows and music, what would we be doing? Staring at the walls? Like it boggles my mind how people would say like the arts are no good. And it also jumps into like how the arts are not, money is not put into the arts in certain colleges unless it's a college for the arts. If the university itself is meant for art itself, then usually universities don't pour as much money into it as they do for engineering and sciences. That's just how it's always been. But during this time, I have noticed a lot of people being very, very like making up new things. I have seen so many Instagram stories of people playing games with their fans. Like if they're famous and they have, a lot of people watching them with their fans, they have a lot of people coming in, playing a little game with them. TikToks are huge now. Well, TikTok was always big, but now it's really big because we're all in the house and we can collaborate the TikToks. Like I know you probably have seen like the one with the men. They have their brushes in the camera, and then they take it out, and then they're like dressed up in their suits. I've seen the one with professional women who would do it. They're like dressed in like their day outfit, and then they put like their hand in the camera, and they come out and they're like dressed all businessy and ready to go out. So yeah, I've noticed a lot of creativity, and it's really cool to see that, to be honest. It's good to see that there's still some benefits to what we're dealing with right now. Being inside lets you think about your life and reflect. Reflection is a really huge thing. I know a lot of people might be wrestling with themselves, their inner thoughts, and this gives you the time to do your reflecting because you're not going out partying, getting drunk, hanging out with your friends, doing anything but taking that self-care time. So that is one benefit for being quarantined that I can see. Just think about it. When is the last time you've got to sit down with yourself and your thoughts? You're able to spend time with your family, play games with them, play board games or whatever you like to do in your free time. Be able to just get some sleep, cuz I know for college students, we're just always on the go. Like, we're always doing something, like nonstop, back to back days. It's like never ending. And you finally get to go to sleep and rest. And you wake up and you're like, okay, now what can I do? Since I cannot go out, or I should not go out, some people still do, like for unnecessary things. Feel like people should stay in as much as they can. But what can I do now? Like, let me just find something to do. Like, that can be cleaning up the house, getting to a project you've been pushing off for so long. Just find anything that makes you feel good, makes you feel whole. You don't necessarily have to do things that you think you should be doing in a way, but just take the time to care for yourself. Like, especially since there's an illness, like make sure you still work out. If you were working out, like do a little home workouts. There's a lot of people, it's actually really cool. A lot of people are doing Zoom workouts. Like, the teacher would be on the Zoom and you just follow along with them, and they're just easy workouts you can do with, just your body and yourself, and maybe some like weights if you have them around. But there's just so much you can do indoors, and I just want to remind people of that, because we literally have no choice. Like, there's no other option right now. But there's just so much to do inside, and I'm happy. I have found a couple of things to do. Actually, at first I didn't. I was like, man, this is gonna be boring. Like, we really in here for real? Like, if I go outside, when I finally get outside, I'm not going to know how to speak to people anymore. I'm gonna be so socially awkward, it's gonna hurt. Like, I don't know how long we're gonna be indoors, but I feel like once we finally get out, it's gonna be so hard talking to people than it already was. Like, I'm gonna be shocked like how it's gonna go down. But I also feel like people are gonna rage out and just do whatever. But we'll see. I'm actually really curious about how it's gonna happen when we're finally be able to go back to work and school and go back to restaurants and such like that. So we'll see what happens. I wanted to shout out this women's organization that I've been involved with at my campus for about 2 years now, called Charge. Shout out Chargies. So I'm shouting them out because we were supposed to go on a retreat this past weekend, and we didn't get to go because of all this that happened. And it was such a bummer, especially for all the planning that went into it. Like, but I was really happy to see that we were still able to come together through Zoom, and we still did like a little retreat thing, like seminars and Zoom. So that was really fun to do, actually, and be able to see people's faces that I haven't seen in a while, and just get to talk and have some human interaction besides texting. That's another huge thing. And some of us have got really creative. They play like I can't even talk today. They play Club Penguin. That's a tongue twister. and then they like Zoom while playing the game. And then the other day, we got to watch Netflix with Zoom. Like you just share your screen and do that. And we're watching this, I call it like a Lifetime movie because it's so cringy and cheesy. It was called The Roommate. But we just like, it was so fun because you're able to interact and talk about the movie while watching the movie. And the movie was horrible. It was so bad, but it was so bad that it was funny. I don't know if you like, when things are so bad, they're hilarious of how it's supposed to be serious, but you can't take it serious because how they made the movie was just so horrible. But yeah, that was really fun to do. So that's another idea people can do for quarantine is FaceTime or whatever video chat service you use. Do that with your friends or family to stay connected during this time. And it honestly, it makes the day go a lot faster. It's so helpful. And we all need to talk to each other during this time because even though we do have other things we can do, like human interaction is a huge thing. So just to stay sane, like you want to imagine just not talking to anybody for like it feels like you're in prison. Like if you don't talk to anybody in like solitary confinement, that's what it's called. Just imagine that. Oh no, we can't have that. So yeah, make sure you stay in contact with your friends and family, especially besides texting. Like I said before, make sure you like actually have a phone call to hear somebody's voice. Like that's always a comforting thing to have. And even though you're not physically present, you're still virtually present, so that still gives you like that sense of company. Like for example, like boyfriend girlfriends, like sometimes they'll FaceTime forever and fall asleep on FaceTime. Like you're not there but it feels like they're there type thing. So yeah, I definitely suggest people make sure you stay in contact, especially if you haven't spoken in a while. You can get up to date on how they're doing. And yeah, quarantine is a very highlighting moment, I feel like, in a lot of people's lives. It forces you to think, it forces you to be creative with your situation, and that's not a bad thing at all. So I just want to keep reiterating that it's not all bad of why we're in quarantine, but we still should also keep update with what's going on in the whole world when it comes to this, and make sure you're spreading good positive energy to those around you. And also when you come across an article, make sure it's legit. Don't try not to spread fake news, because there's a lot of articles that they're really good at making it seem like it's real news when it's not. So just make sure, like, keep up to date, but don't bury yourself into the coronavirus, because it's going to make you feel depressed. Like, you need to take a break from the news. Like, I watch it maybe for like 5 minutes. It keeps saying all the deaths, tolls, and all that, but also look up the people who are recovered. They make sure you look up the recovery rate too, because that also gives you like a little hope and some positivity. You don't want to just keep reading negative. Like, even though sometimes the news doesn't show all the good, they can't show everything on the news. Like, they'll be there like all day, so they just repeat the news over and over in the day. But make sure you do your own research since you have the time now, and just inform yourself. So do self-care also. There's a lot of time here to self-reflect, stay in contact with people, and all that. And I hope everyone is doing well in this quarantine situation. If you have any questions, or if you want any suggestions of a hobby you can maybe take up or try out, don't mind asking me in the comments, or even email me at jadamadetoday@gmail.com. I will have all that info in the descriptions. If you enjoyed episode 1, please like, comment, and subscribe. And join in the conversation in the comments. Let me know what you think. How are you doing in this quarantine? And make sure you stay tuned for episode 2. Thank you.